Welcome, Age of Vintage Society. Barbara Hale is best known for her role in the US television legal drama Perry Mason. The actress sort of stumbled upon a career in show business. Barbara Hale was so convincing as Della Street, the unflappable secretary in the long-running television courtroom drama, that she received letters from office girls all over America asking her advice on how to become more efficient and businesslike. Why Barbara Hale almost rejected the role that would bring her worldwide fame. Make sure to watch the video until the end and leave your thoughts in the comments. If you are new here, join our wonderful community by subscribing to the Age of Vintage channel. Every great TV character needs a sidekick. Batman would be nothing without Robin, just like the Skipper wouldn't be as funny without Gilligan pushing his buttons. Even criminal defence lawyers need an extra set of eyes and ears. Sure, Perry Mason centred around the titular character, but the 1950s legal drama wouldn't have that certain captivating quality without the devoted secretary Della Street, portrayed by Barbara Hale. Hale may have played a supporting role on the show, but she was instrumental in its success. An outstanding actress in her own right, Hale left the movie business to join the show, one of the first of its kind. She reprised the role in 29 TV movies between 1985 and 1995. Although Hale's all-American girl next door looks had seen her cast typically as supportive wives in her film career, in Perry Mason she was a single career woman who out-bantered Drake's flirtatious advances in almost every episode. When we started, it was the beginning of women not working at home, she said. I liked it that she was not married. Hale's role in Perry Mason was not big in terms of screen time. She joked that she basically had 6 scenes and costume changes to denote the changing of days, but its impact was strong enough for her to win an Emmy in 1959 as Best Supporting Actress. To her fans, Barbara Hale seemed born to play the role of Della Street, savvy and streetwise secretary of Raymond Burr's indefatigable public defender, but she nearly walked away from the opportunity. Her path to Hollywood was a highly publicised Cinderella story. Hale, who starred opposite Raymond Burr in more than 270 episodes of Perry Mason, was born in DeKalb, Illinois in 1922, moving to Hollywood in 1943. Her parents, Wilma and Luther Ezra Hale, a landscape gardener. She had one sister, Juanita, for whom Hale's younger daughter was named. The family was of Scots-Irish ancestry. In 1940, Hale was a member of the final graduating class from Rockford High School in Rockford, Illinois, then attended the Chicago Academy of Fine Arts, planning to be an artist. Her performing career began in Chicago, when she started modelling to pay for her education. She was spotted by a modelling agent. The agent sent photos to the RKO movie studio, which summoned Hale to Los Angeles. Having arrived in Hollywood during World War II, the Illinois native was put to work in bit parts and as a pin-up for home studio RKO. She was sitting in a casting director's office when a phone call came asking for a starlet to replace one who had fallen ill. Hale was sent to the set of Gildersleeve's Bad Day and made her film debut. Although studio publicity trumpeted her instant stardom, in reality she had but a single line and went unmentioned in the credits. She continued to make small uncredited appearances in films until her first credited role alongside Frank Sinatra in Higher and Higher, even singing with him in the film. Hale had leading roles in movies including West of the Pecos, Lady Luck opposite Robert Young in what she described as her first full stardom and her 5th A picture, and The Window. She received excellent notices for her co-starring performance opposite Larry Parks in the musical biography Jolson Sings Again. She and Parks were teamed for subsequent films. Barbara Hale established her role profile as a warm-hearted, lovable but very strong-minded, vivid and resolute woman who will reach her aim. Mostly she played women who know what they want, and who also show this clearly to the man of their heart. Barbara gave her characters an expressive personality that makes them lovable for viewers. Contributing to that are Barbara's strong charisma on screen and her warm voice. At RKO she met the actor Bill Williams, and after making West of the Pecos 1945 together, in which Hale starred with Robert Mitchum, In 1946, when Hale was just about to turn 24, the newspaper, the Morning Herald, publicly predicted she would marry actor Bill Williams by her 25th birthday. Later that year, the two were married. The couple originally met at a studio commissary. They were together until his death in 1992. It's like walking a tightrope, this business of career and marriage. I've never walked a tightrope before, but I guess I'll have to learn how. Williams would go on to star on television as Kit Carson in a successful Western series. Hale, a more talented actor, was trapped in lesser studio parts until she too found success on the smaller screen. Hale was under contract with RKO at the same time as Lucille Ball, Desi Arnaz, Ginger Rogers, Jane Russell, and her future co-star Raymond Burr. Her best RKO parts came working with child actors, Dean Stockwell in Joseph Losey's The Boy with the Green Hair, and Bobby Driscoll in Ted Tetzlaff's Noirish The Window, her penultimate RKO release. She moved to Columbia when she generally played adoring wives and steadfast girlfriends. Her light touch saw her cast with James Stewart and James Cagney, and opposite Robert Cummings, in the early Frank Tashlin comedy The First Time. She had the title role in Lorna Doone, but became a feature in low-budget but interesting Columbia westerns. On February 16, 1951, Barbara gave birth to son William Theodore. Their third child, Juanita Laura Lee, was born in Los Angeles on December 22, 1953, and made the family complete. After Juanita's birth, Barbara Hale was thinking about giving up her work as an actress. She simply enjoyed being a mother. It's very easy for me to fall into a domestic routine. I love to stay at home. I love the children and Bill. I don't like to be away at the studio. But Bill is old-time vaudevillian. He likes to get out, see the town, do things. He would be bored with a girl who is just a little housewife. I keep just enough career going to keep Bill interested in what I'm doing. After 15 years in the business, Hale thought about retiring from acting to raise her 3 young children. However, a producer approached her about a supporting role on Perry Mason, one of the first hour-long productions on television. Hale had been working in Hollywood for well over a decade when she was offered the supporting role, the courtroom series starring Raymond Burr as an unbeatable criminal lawyer. In 1992, she jokingly remembered the decision to accept the role offer that would bring her worldwide fame. And finally, after a few years, I heard about this show that was going to be done. In fact, I was asked to read the script, which was the Perry Mason script, and I said, I really don't want to do a series right now. The children are just small, you know. And Gail Patrick Jackson, producer of the series, said, But Barbara, Raymond Burr is going to do it, and you know him. And I said, I'll do it. The show ran from 1957 to 1966, with Della in classic business-like fashions and her trademark short, dark hair as a steadying and infinitely reliable presence, if not a constant one. Della was to a great degree a woman who knew what everybody was thinking, Hale said in a 1993 interview. She was informed and very observant of everything that went on. That was my challenge as an actress, to be a necessary part of the office without being too aggressive. Della was quietly overpowering. She knew when to speak and when to keep her mouth closed. The role of Della Street clearly shows differences to Barbara Hale's role profile of the 40s and early 50s. Della was certainly warm-hearted and strong too, but never so single-minded as Barbara's previous roles. Della Street is characterised rather by her devoted, supporting and loyal character. Her part in the Perry Mason series was small but important. Her appearance was totally necessary, but making the series was hard work for the whole team. Despite the sporadic appearances of the actress, her working time extended partly over the whole week. However, the familiar atmosphere on the set is always mentioned. Perry Mason deserves a little recognition because of the actor most associated with the role, Raymond Burr, one of the first, if not the first, homosexual actors to ever star in the lead role of a successful TV series. Hale's career became inextricably linked with that of Perry Mason co-star Burr. She guest-starred in Murder Impromptu, a 1971 episode of his next series, Ironside. Some viewers speculated about a possible romance between Perry and Della off-screen, but Hale and Burr were close friends. An avid gardener, he even named an orchid for her. When Burr got the offer in the mid-80s to star in the Perry Mason made-for-TV movies, he accepted only with the condition that Barbara Hale had to be Della Street again. Hale matured as a leading lady opposite Jimmy Stewart in The Jackpot and James Cagney in A Lion is in the Streets, but marriage and motherhood prompted the actress to seek out short-term television work, which kept her closer to home. A shot as regular on Perry Mason failed to spark Hale's interest until she learned her co-star would be Raymond Burr, an old friend from her days at RKO. In 1985 she and Burr were reunited for a television movie. Burr and Hale were the only original cast members when the show resumed on NBC. Della slowed by age but unwavering in their shared devotion to the law. She continued her role after Burr died in 1993 and was replaced by Hal Holbrook for the movies that continued into 1995. In the early 1970s, Hale took on another widely recognised role, touting Amana Radar range microwave ovens in TV commercials and print ads. If it doesn't say Amana, it's not a Radar range. When CBS cancelled Perry Mason, Hale reverted to episodic television, including a spot on Burr's successful police series Ironside and regular roles in Disney's Wonderful World of Colour. Widowed in 1992 and mourning the loss of Burr the following year, Hale retired in 1995, content in her legacy as a consummate character actress and the definitive Della Street. Her last on-screen appearance was in a 2000 biographical documentary TV series episode about Raymond Burr in Biography. In real life, Hale would have made a hopeless secretary, for, by her own admission, she did not take shorthand and could type only a desultory 33 words a minute. Yet she played her on-screen part with such conviction that she fooled even her 6-year-old son Billy. When she attended his first school parents' evening, a picture he'd drawn of her was proudly laid out on his desk. Underneath he had written, "This is my mum. I love her. She is a secretary." She was gracious and kind and silly, always fun to be with. A wonderful actress and smart businesswoman, she was most of all a treasure as a friend and mother. We're all a little lost without her, but we have extraordinary stories and memories to take with us for the rest of our lives. Hale died at her home in Sherman Oaks, California on January 26, 2017 of complications from chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you are new here, and if you want to support my work, please visit my Patreon page. Now it is your turn. What do you think about the life and legacy of Barbara Hale? She was everyone's favourite secretary.